Hey all, this is Aridan and well, back at Afghanistan. I'm doing a side op. I'm trying to find the legendary gunsmith.
Sandstorm approaching.
That's why I brought D-Dog with me. Down, and I'm doing it again. It's perfect time actually. I'm dropping out as Sandstorm approaches, so come on. I hate when this happens. Why is it cutting? Come on. Okay, thank you. Ooh, R&D team just went up. Don't know why. I think a couple of them just... No, wait, they actually signified that they went out of the emergency room. What's the thing that you call it in military? The medical bay or something. Sorry, I'm not being straight. I'm a little bit sick, by the way. That's why I sounded a bit... and I'm coughing. And I'm snorting. Okay, just do that. Yeah, there we go. Now, the guy that not give a shit, look at all this shite. Oh, I know this place. It's a hard one.
Marker placed.
Nice. Let's go get him. Come on, D-Dog. We got a legendary gunsmith to find. Because I really want to develop a new types of weapons, cool weapons with suppressors that are colored in pink, hot pink or some other color, I don't know. I'll think about it when I get them. I think that's what they do apparently, that gives me the ability to customize my weapons. Okay, 160 meters. Let's keep moving. Didi, see anybody? Smell anybody? I do wonder does Sandstorm impedes D-Dogs. There we go. Plant, I saw plant. As I was saying, I wonder does Sandstorm impedes D-Dog's senses. Apparently it doesn't. It should actually. Because how the fuck can you smell anything when your nostrils are full of sand? Never mind. It's a light. Yeah, there we go. Extract legendary gas is good. Because I did this mission before and apparently that wasn't the gunsmith I was looking for, it was one of his apprentices. What is this? A jeep? Jeep. You can actually smell. Whoa. That's nice. That's nice. Hey, let's talk. Oh, thank you. You are extremely helpful.
The map has been updated.
I'm just getting it. And you're... Come on, you're out. Bingo. Scanning.
Analysis complete.
Huh. Nah. Right now I'm taking only A+. Oh, why not? Actually, I haven't hidden any bodies recently, so I'm just gonna do this. Oh. Also, I think I forgot my previous episode I was recording, I was saying something that Konami apparently is gonna stop making AAA games. Well, Konami released a statement that they're not gonna do that, but considering what happened to Silent Hills and the demo PT and whoa, shit! Jesus! She scared me. It's one of those stupid decoys. They actually started putting those decoys all over around. I shouldn't be actually worried about it considering I have D-Dog with me, you can smell anything. So just, whoa. I just have to get my bearings here, thank you. There we go. Fuel. You are not an enemy combatant. Diamond! The Diamond Dog needs to gather other diamonds. Have money to buy more shit for Diamond Dogs. Wow. My voice must be extremely annoying at this point. I mean, just my whole nose is puckered up like a fucking dam. Shit, I'm just gonna start referring myself. You know what? I have a better idea. Instead of talking, I'm just gonna put on tapes. Because I have a couple of tapes that I want to put to you, and I think we stopped on. I said I'm gonna put them on, and this is actually a very good point. that I can put those tapes on. Apologies. Come on! I don't want to get caught. I want to play shit or play my ass off. Is a reference to what is it? I forgot the name of the game. Never mind. Question Huey. Let's go. Emmerich, 9 years.
It wasn't just Cypher. Back in the
Enjoy your
campaign,
tapes.
every eye in the world was turned on us.
Jesus. Yeah, I should have fucking known.
An army, just a bunch of guys with guns, in possession of a nuke. Why wouldn't they be uncomfortable?
And that's why you made sure the inspection happened.
Well, I thought our best move was to prove to the UN
Damn it, that actually went.
IAEA
Ah,
had no
yeah,
nuke.
yeah.
Of course, I was against us
Fuck.
having it in the first place, but that was Snake's decision.
The boss wasn't responsible.
Well, don't get me wrong, I still believed in Snake. I thought I was making the best decision for all of us, that's all. I figured we should get a third party to exonerate us before proof of the nuke did get out. And who better to do that than an organization with international authority?
Enemy progress detected.
So the
map
truth
has
is,
been updated.
you took it upon yourself to agree to an inspection arranged by the UN. Only the inspection was a ruse, and Cypher's strike force, XOF, showed up instead.
I had no idea that would happen.
Enough bullshit!
Oh, sure, like I could have known. You know, I was just trying to prove our innocence to the world. What's wrong with that?
We're not
I think
interested in the
Huey had
excuses you thought
extremely good intentions, but it just fucked itself over, so.
My point of view.
led XOF to the control tower. They seized it, giving them complete control over the base. Moments later, they detonated C4 on the strut legs. Anyone who'd managed to survive was hunted down by the assault force and their choppers.
You can't believe I did that on purpose.
That was the end of Mother Base.
Number one.
Wasn't the end for you.
How can you... Look, think about it. I lost something too. I built Zeke and it got buried underwater. I am a victim.
That raises the big questions.
I lost an arm. Miller lost an arm and a leg. I know what also lost, but
Strangelove leave the base on the eve of the inspection. You two were close.
Strange love?
Then how did you manage to build something that surpasses Zeke in every way? Because you did everything they told you.
bye bye.
You're the only one who didn't lose a thing.
Also, I figured out how to slide down ladders.
Is the truth.
I was taken away against my will. Skullface forced me to do his
Get up.
research these past 9 years. He used me. I lost 9 years.
9 years.
Spit it out.
We all lost 9 years. It wasn't just you.
I suppose blaming me makes you feel better, does it?
Updated.
But who's gonna give
Stick
me
around.
back all the time I lost?
You're not getting
Good stupid
anything
actions
back.
are gonna stay here for the entirety of the
You're
mission.
not a victim here, Emmerich. You're the perpetrator.
I didn't know anything.
Nobody can back that up.
Nope.
All the evidence
Analysis
is at the
complete.
bottom of the ocean. You know the hardest man to break. The type who's fooling himself.
Analysis
That takes
complete.
time. It's easier to live a convenient lie than a painful truth. Is that the piece you've chosen, Doc?
I'm not lying.
Of course.
You may think you're not lying.
Just let me check one or two things.
He also knows you're lying.
You were in the control tower with him. Lucky you. That's how you got out unscathed. And you escaped on one of their choppers. Only you, right before the base went under.
They had me blindfolded the whole time.
Oops.
I've never been so scared. The whole flight I thought they'd kill me. But thinking of you kept me going. My comrades, all the way.
Now you're being full of shit.
There was a plane journey, then we traveled by road. When they finally took off...
Come on, check it out.
I was in kind of a warehouse, on the floor. Afghanistan. in
Hey,
that
what's up?
research lab. I Couldn't believe they'd taken me halfway around the world. And soon enough, he came.
Skullface.
He's the one who's really behind that mother base attack. He forced me into that research.
What kind of research?
He told me to build a bipedal walking tank for the Soviet Union. Like Peace Walker. A system that could fire an ICBM-class nuclear weapon. That's how the Sahelanthropus project got started.
Sahelanthropus.
Why the fuck does it also have to be a
Those
nuclear
AI
weapon?
weapons I'd made in Costa Rica were like toys
Good boy.
by comparison. A whole world apart from reptilian
take
four-legged
this.
crawling and that ridiculous hunched-over bipedal waddling. My design evolved to the dawn of mankind. Sahelanthropus, the first steps towards humanity. An upright bipedal weapon system.
Who's seeing me?
Originally, Sahelanthropus was going to be a manned weapons platform. I designed a cockpit in its head, and I planned to fill it with water as a buffering agent.
Like how Paz modified Zeke for human control.
Don't compare me to some amateur. I designed it for human control from the beginning. The problem was miniaturizing the posture control AI. You remember the
Ooh.
reptile pod?
The AI that controlled your unmanned weapons.
Attaching it externally makes it vulnerable, so this time I wanted it beneath the armor. Meaning I had to make the AI smaller. I got it down to less than 1/10 the size without any loss in computation speed. It was
Nice.
still too big for the cockpit. There wasn't enough room for the pilot. If I made the head bigger, its body would have to be bigger to support it. Too big to be practical. In the end, human piloting was taken off the table. I tested a remote control system too, but there was the time lag and I wasn't satisfied with its precision either. Plus, it would be useless if the enemy jammed it. So next, I went back to trying an AI-only system. To do that, I had the AI pods recovered from Nicaragua. This was a hybrid AI, a combination of Peace Walker's reptile and mammal pods. The only AIs that had ever successfully
I'm taking it with
operated
me.
an unmanned nuclear weapon system.
Really? You'd need some help to get that working. Expert help. Did you work with someone?
I worked alone.
Why do I find it hard to
that
believe,
yourself.
Emmerich?
That's the thing.
Subject on board. Leave the rest to us.
I did finally get Sahelanthropus walking by folding over its upper body to lower its center of gravity. The first upright bipedal locomotive weapon system in the history of mankind. I guess technically it falls into the anthropoid ape category.
I don't see the benefit of having it stand taller.
On terrain with significant differences in elevation like Afghanistan, you need a body that's vertically adaptable. That also lets it attack from long range while using mountain ridges for cover. So, making it walk upright was the most important factor in giving it superior height capability. As the name suggests, that was the whole point of Sahelanthropus. But I was being pushed for results. Having the AI mounted externally would have been the fastest way to get it working. I just needed more data so it could maintain its balance. But Skullface refused to wait. He dismissed the idea of AI control and took Sahelanthropus away from me before I could finish it.
But it was walking when it came after you.
That's just it. I don't understand how Skullface got it to move upright, without a pilot or an AI. And walking
I'm gonna
at
go for
that speed,
Psychomantis,
too.
actually.
It's beyond anything I could have imagined.
Magic.
This is like the Wright brothers making it to the moon.
That's a nice spot.
I'm just as clueless as you are.
So this Sahelanthropus, where is it now?
I have no idea. All my experiments took place at that cave. I've never seen it anywhere else. Besides, it's still just an incomplete prototype at this point, and nothing but a paper tiger. Even if it can walk, it's far from being a viable weapons platform. It wouldn't be useful in actual battle.
Emmerich will remain here at Mother Base for now, but not as a member of Diamond Dogs. I still don't trust him. That work for you? Fine by me. He can't be allowed any contact with staff either. Yeah. A lot of the guys would love some payback for 9 years ago. We still need him alive. But we have to restrict his movements. He can only go where we tell him. And of course, the interrogations will continue. He worked for that skull bastard for nearly a decade. He still has more to tell us. How long are we gonna press him? If our investigation shows he really had nothing to do with the attack, we'll reconsider his place here. But I don't expect that to happen. Remember that water tank-shaped object in Emmerich's lab in the Soviet base camp? The thing that started talking to you like a possessed answering machine. That was a pod built for housing the AI used to control unmanned weapons. You remember, back in '74 in Costa Rica. It was in those machines you fought there. They were designated Pupa, Chrysalis, Cocoon, and Basilisk. And each of them was fitted with an AI unit called a reptile pod. Emmerich created it. It mainly handled the machine's posture control and autonomous behavior. But the Basilisk, aka Peace Walker, also featured a second AI pod. That one was called the Mammal Pod, and it was created by Dr. Strangelove. She tried to recreate the boss's personality through the Mammal Pod, but you pulled out its memory boards. That's when it transferred its own functions to its reptile pod. Just like a human brain compensating for damage by using the remaining healthy parts. The result was a unique entity, a hybrid of the reptile and the mammal. It sank to the bottom of Lake Nicaragua with Peace Walker. But apparently they salvaged it and transported it to that lab. Don't let it deceive you, Snake. It may sound like the boss, but it has neither a personality nor a will. Like Emmerich says, it's just a machine.
Oh shit. That would nice. Seriously, that did work nice.
Speak.
Thank you for that useful information. Also, what the others? Why am I reading what the boss is saying? Strangle the bastard. Thank you. And right now I'm gonna place you inside a portable toilet. Because you look like you could use it. Stick around. And considering combat deployment tapes, I'm risking a lot of shit right now, considering they could just easily spot me. What is the harm?
You call that thing Sahelanthropus.
Whoops.
Where does the name come from?
Well, several years ago, an excavation team discovered a hominid skull in the Sahel region.
Central Africa, the Southern Sahara.
Cypher gave the specimen the name Sahelanthropus, Man of Sahel.
Makes sense.
Then they covered the whole thing up.
Why?
They probably wanted to monopolize information about human evolution to have a head start in their genetic research. At least, until they had an idea of what they'd found.
It was that big of a discovery, huh?
Sahelanthropus was a gracile hominid, estimated to have lived about 7 million years ago. What's significant about it is how its skull's foramen magnum faces down. In other words, its spinal column supported its head from underneath.
It stood upright.
Right. Which would mean Sahelanthropus walked upright 3 million years before Australopithecus, making it the world's oldest human species.
Walking upright. I get it. Hence the name Sahelanthropus for your machine.
Walking upright was the decisive difference between our ancestors and other anthropoids. Our brains could get heavier once they were supported by the spinal column.
Learning science.
The use of tools and the development of complex communication through language. Only man is capable of this.
Okay, subject is in.
Defender of all bipedal weapon platforms.
And you did this for Cypher.
No, not at all. Sahelanthropus is the best proof that I never betrayed you guys.
What do you mean?
The reconstructed Sahelanthropus skull looked exactly like the skull we used as our logo 9 years ago in the Caribbean.
An army without a nation.
Milita Sans Frontières.
The design was based on Pangea, the supercontinent that existed 250 million years ago, right?
Yeah. When the world was a single landmass, that concept's at the source of our strength.
I felt the same way about Sahelanthropus. Sure, I was forced to build it under their orders, but I want to put its technology back in our hands someday.
So we can come this way?
That's the reason I incorporated the old insignia into Sahelanthropus'
apparently.
name. Don't you see? That's how much I was thinking about you guys.
Oh, I see, all right. I see someone desperate to cover his ass. You can say whatever you want after
What the-
the fact. But that skull also symbolizes somebody else.
Analysis complete.
Skullface.
Snake, you finally came.
What do you want?
Don't record this, okay?
I'm not recording anything. What's this
Who
about?
the hell is recording this
What I'm
anyway?
about to say stays between you and me. It's about the weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
This can be a useful piece of
You know a
information. This,
researcher by the name of
because of the,
Clark?
listen
He
to
works in
that
the
one.
biotech industry. Real advanced stuff. His area is bioengineering, but lately he's also gotten into genetic research.
Never heard of him.
No wonder.
What do you know about cloning?
And I'm out.
I think I've heard enough.
Hold on, this is important.
No, it isn't.
Cloning lets you create a genetic copy of an organism. You take the nucleus of one of its cells, and you swap it with the nucleus of an unfertilized egg from another member of the same species. They started out working with plants, but since then they've had success with other organisms, including mammals. It's a hot area for a lot of places right now. Corporations, universities, research groups. There's no shortage of scientists out to get famous and patent their work, with morality taking a back seat.
Isn't that a little outside your field?
It's got nothing to do with my research. But I thought it might be of interest to you. Cloning, and Dr. Clark, I mean.
Go on.
Now, this is really highly classified stuff. But I've heard that an American biotech company has successfully cloned a human being.
There's no destination.
What's more, it happened over 10 years ago.
I'm out.
And the researcher behind it was Dr.
You're in for
Clark.
nothing!
You've really never heard of him?
I don't meet many doctors.
This Dr. Clark is a complete ghost, even to others in his field.
He's coming too. Roger that.
That might not be his real name. And I can't even say for sure he is a he. Clark's employer, ATGC, its company motto is embracing your hopes, preserving talent.
What does this have to do with me?
Cypher. Dr. Clark works for ATGC, and they have connections to DARPA. Cypher couldn't function without the communications network DARPA's built. Meaning,
Ooh.
Cypher has to be a part of the Pentagon. Or at least, the two are joined at the hip. DARPA is a driving force behind human cloning. It's a pretty high priority project for them. And this Dr. Clark, some say he's a pivotal player in Cypher. But that's not all. Every cell nucleus in an organism contains the genetic information for that organism. Think of it as a blueprint for life. Clark appears to be working on how to decode this information and rearrange it at will. If you could do that, it would mean being able to custom design human beings for specific purposes. Can you believe that?
Storm approaching.
Suppose for a moment that this is all fact. A man of your talents, if your genetic information died with you, that would be a terrible loss for mankind. But what if mankind could preserve you for future generations by cloning you?
All right, enough. I get the idea.
So what Zero
I
wanted,
know
right?
it's inductive reasoning, but this weapon to surpass Metal Gear they're developing in Africa, I believe it's something that uses this new technology. Speaking as a fellow scientist, it chills me to the bone.
That's rich coming from you.
If genes serve as our blueprint, then I wonder if they include an impulse that drives us to tweak the design. Can you imagine that? Genes, encoded with information
And I'm out
that
of
wants
this.
its children to decode it.
Thank you for the
Like
sandstorm.
it's putting the direction of our next evolution in the hands of scientists? I guess it would take some real arrogance to believe that. And yet, It could be what Cypher's after.
I think you're barking up the wrong tree. But that was an interesting story. It'd make a good movie.
You
Got
have
him?
to believe me.
Got
Where'd
him.
you hear all this anyway?
Where? I just overheard it in bits and pieces while I was forced to do that research for them.
Of course you
Right.
did, Doctor.
Wait a minute. Look, I want to help you. I want to be of service here. I'm risking my life with this.
Is that so? Maybe it's time we brought someone else into the conversation.
No, not him. Not Ocelot. You can't do this.
Roger.
Requested.
Of course I'm gonna go through this conversation.
Shortly.
No tape, let's go. Get to find out the lore. So, that's the weapons plus Metal Gear. And its name? Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, and Solid Snake.
Ever since the attack on your unit 9 years ago, the name Big Boss has become known the world over.
What do you mean?
Those of your men who survived traveled far and wide. They fought throughout the world. In fact, they're part of the reason we have all these PFs now. Every one of them suffered their own phantom pain from losing you. Talking about you wherever they went helped to heal their wounds. Your actions and words, your legend, has been told on every battlefield they've set foot on. Obviously, as the tales have spread, the truth's been distorted, painted over. Big Boss sacrificed himself to show us the threat that Cypher poses. He sounded a warning, so it goes.
A warning.
Nice story.
Much power destroys the hands that hold it. Apparently, you chose to be a living example of that.
I never said any of that.
The moment any truth is passed on, it starts turning into fiction. The problem is, fiction inspires people more than facts. To the world, you're now the legendary mercenary Big Boss. The lessons you've taught the PFs are the reason they're so widespread. They're the reason they've survived. And you know what they all aspire to? To one day go nuclear, just like you did. And stand up to Cypher.
Oh, this ain't good.
Of all the stupid things you could do.
Exactly.
You'll never understand what you really wanted. Heroes are misunderstood. It takes a man of the same caliber to understand what drives them.
Extraction.
Bottom line is,
arrived at
these guys
Motorbase.
want to be like their hero, Big Boss. And deep down, they all have their eyes on nuclear weapons.
Nah.
That a nuke is the only means of standing against Cypher.
No, it isn't.
These days, it's becoming little more than a slogan to rally the troops and survive in a cutthroat business.
Currently, there are 3 major PFs who've expanded into Central Africa. CFA, Rogue Coyote, and Zero Risk Security.
Nice name.
HEC's investigations have shown there's almost no overlap between their areas of operation. Before, more likely to have a gentleman's agreement. If you do cross paths with them, you probably won't have to face more than one at a time. Still, don't expect to walk in the park.
I never do.
The CFA, Contract Forces of Africa. These guys are
This
a
thing
major
I don't
player.
think I'm actually gonna
Their
hear
head
all of
office
it,
is in
so
Pretoria,
I'm just gonna
South
put it on
Africa.
the ACC.
That's also where the South African Defense Force is headquartered. We think the two are closely connected.
Yeah, I thought so.
Extraction arrived at Motorbase.
Okay, what about, is that really the ultimate gunsmith or is it another apprentice? I'm gonna guess another apprentice. Dr. Miller. He doesn't want to talk to me. Okay, let's listen to those tapes then. Considering finish this whole shit up. Africa Today. We were at this spot.
The CFA, Contract Forces of Africa.
And while this
These
is
guys
going
are a
on, I'm just
major
gonna
player.
develop some things
Their
and
head
see at
office
like
is in
base or
Pretoria,
etc.
South Africa.
See maybe something just
That's also where the South
unlocked
African
itself.
Defense Force is headquartered. We think the two are closely connected. An HEC investigation revealed that most of the CFA's operators are former SADF soldiers. South Africa has been locked in struggles with neighboring
Nope.
regimes for years.
No new side-ups?
That means constant action. And we know better than anyone that's the best kind of training.
Please select
A company drawing its recruits from hardened military vets. You can bet they know how to handle themselves. Do not underestimate them. Within the CFA is a company of soldiers made up mainly of locally hired operators. They speak Afrikaans to communicate with personnel from the CFA.
Dispatched.
But if you notice any speaking the local language, that's them. Though hired from the local population, they were originally part of a paramilitary group, so they'll have plenty of combat experience. And unlike their days shooting junkyard rifles out of beat-up pickup trucks, the CFA now supplies them with the latest gear from the West. On top of that, they've been combat trained by the
Let's
South
see this,
African Army.
because I haven't tried it yet.
All that adds up to a much stronger fighting force. So don't brush them off.
Look at the Angola-Zaire border region.
Oh, that's nice. I
These
can actually
bank of
make
the Munene
shit of
River
this.
in particular. It's a
I can
microcosm
change the
of a
base, I
problem
can
that
change
stretches
it.
all
Nice.
across Africa. There's a civil war going on in Angola, fought between the government MPLA and the Western-backed UNITA. Zaire is still a dictatorship under President
Can
Mobutu,
change color.
but numerous uprisings have broken out in
Sweet.
its remote regions. With all the trouble elsewhere keeping their hands full,
Fine.
neither government has control over their side of the border. They depend
the-
on militias and PFs, as do the rebels. Government forces, guerrillas, militants, groups of all shapes and sizes hawk whatever resources they can to
Oh,
hire
come
PFs.
on.
Conflict brings PFs. PFs expand the war
There we
zone,
go.
and more conflicts erupt in a continuous chain reaction.
That's what it changes.
Sounds like our kind of work. Mother Base could grow by leaps and bounds.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so this is the weapon development. I wonder, can I have a revolver? Nope, nothing changes. Can I change the colors? Make it kind of cool like that. So this is how you make your own weapon systems. Okay, and I think I have a couple more tapes to actually put in, because I just show you how to develop your weapon. Well, you get weapons special as you can actually... Sorry, the words are escaping me. What am I doing? Where are the tapes? There they are. I'm actually really... my mind is working slower than it should be. And the man on... aha, that one was already done. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna cut on this one.